Grace Groner lived a quiet life. She never married, never drove a car, and worked her entire career as a secretary. Richard Fuscone lived a very different life. Educated at Harvard and the University of Chicago, he became an executive at a major investment bank and retired in his 40s. When Grace passed away in 2010 at the age of 100, she left a $7 million fortune to charity, built entirely by leaving her modest savings alone to compound. That exact same year, Richard stood before a judge and filed for personal bankruptcy, his fortune entirely wiped out by heavy borrowing and illiquid investments. Try to imagine a secretary with no medical training outperforming a Harvard-trained cardiologist in the operating room. You can't. Yet in finance, a complete amateur with zero industry connections can vastly outperform someone with an elite pedigree. That tells us something important. Financial success relies very little on how smart you are, and almost entirely on how you behave. It is a soft skill, but behavior is messy because everyone views money through a unique lens shaped by the specific era they grew up in. A stockbroker who lost everything in the Great Depression carries a lifelong emotional scar that dictates every move they make. Compare that to someone who entered the workforce during the booming tech market of the late 1990s. One sees the stock market as a guaranteed trap. The other sees it as an endless escalator. Give them the exact same data, and they will make opposite choices. And based on their own lived experiences, both of them are making sense. We usually analyze financial mistakes by checking the math. We need to start checking the emotional mechanics underneath. When we see someone reach the absolute peak of wealth, we tend to attribute all of it to their relentless work ethic and unique intelligence. Bill Gates is brilliant and hardworking, but in 1968, he attended one of the only high schools in the world with a computer. That geographic and chronological accident gave him years of programming experience before most people had even seen a keyboard. He also had a close friend named Kent Evans. Kent shared that exact same brilliance and obsession with computers, but Kent died in a mountaineering accident before finishing high school. Luck and risk are two sides of the same coin. They are the constant, uncontrollable variables that dictate outcomes far more than individual effort alone can explain. Trying to replicate the exact behaviors of an outlier billionaire means attempting to replicate a precise formula of invisible luck that you cannot control. There is a widespread assumption that the skills you use to acquire money are the exact same skills you need to maintain it. Getting money requires optimism. It requires stepping out, taking significant risks, and channeling aggressive ambition to capture a reward. Keeping money demands the exact opposite. It requires a quiet paranoia. It demands frugality, caution, and an ever-present fear that your gains could be wiped out tomorrow. To hold on to wealth, you have to adopt a survival mindset. That means building massive margins of safety in your daily life to withstand unpredictable market collapses, recessions, and global panics. True financial durability is rarely about scoring the highest return in a single year. It is about enduring long enough to let compounding run its course over decades. We also assume that buying expensive things signals our value to society. We purchase luxury goods, expecting them to generate respect and admiration from the people around us. But think about what happens when a Ferrari drives by. You look at it and think, I would look amazing driving that car. Onlookers admire the object and imagine themselves in it, ignoring the driver completely. That exposes the gap between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich means you have a high income and you spend it on visible items. Wealth is what you don't see. It is the cars you didn't buy, the first-class upgrades you declined, and the unspent cash sitting quietly in a portfolio. Taking money out of the bank specifically to show people how much money you have is the fastest mathematical way to guarantee you have less of it. Because humans are emotional, trying to build a perfectly rational, flawless spreadsheet for your finances often fails when stress hits. Instead, we should aim to be psychologically reasonable, building a plan that actually lets us sleep at night. This candlestick chart shows a downward trend. Investors treat this volatility like a punishing fine, but it's actually a fee, the price of admission for long-term growth. Refusing to pay it causes panic selling at the bottom, making you entirely miss the later recovery. So why endure the fee? Why save quietly and build that invisible wealth? Not to hoard cash, but to purchase autonomy. A high savings rate buys the ability to say no, to wait for a better opportunity, or to handle a crisis without panic. The highest dividend money pays isn't a luxury car or a larger house. It is the ability to wake up every single morning and know you have complete control over your own time.